Okay, we are live. All right. Okay. Signal seems good. Hope people can hear me. Okay. What up? What's good, everybody? How you doing out there? Don't see anybody quite on, but that's okay. I'm just going to answer some questions right now. So far, somebody did send in a question for me. So this will play back. And I'm going to take some time to answer some of the questions that has been sent out to me. Just to respect the people that are watching the playback and wanting to get a bit of info from moi. So definitely to do that and get that going. So I'm gonna pull up the question real quick. I said real quick. Okay, there we go. YouTube Studio. Okay, so far that after 5 p.m. when they get off of work is more appropriate, which is fine. I can definitely understand that, getting off of work and you want to have some time to look at these things and have the time to answer your questions. So I completely understand that. So the first question I got was how to buy a home with no money down. Okay, well, it's really, well, buying a property with no money down, it really depends on the lender that you find, the mortgage company, the bank, or lender that you're going to be working with to be able to fund your home. Now, there are different like low down payment programs out there. There are different lenders that offers a no money down. So it really depends on the mortgage company or the bank that you're dealing with. And then you also want to look at any benefits that you have. Like, for example, if you're with a union, with your job, or even if you are part of the military, like a VA loan, those type of loans, and the ones that I also talk about, like different programs, some of them are zero money down and they'll also cover your closing costs. Now, there are requirements that you do have to meet to be able to receive those type of benefits, and you definitely want to take some time to investigate that particular mortgage company or company, union, or whatever they are, to be able to know what is their requirements, whether they expect you to be making a certain amount of money a year, or in some cases it would be like, for example, if you're doing military, it also depends on how long you've been in service, things of that nature. So it really depends on that program, what their procedures and their policies are, and what type of requirements they want you to have in order to have zero down, and they'll also cover your closing costs. So that's where there are no money down programs and programs that do cover your closing costs. So you definitely want to do a little more investigation on that. But that really is depending on the lender and the lender that you're working with. So I hope that answers your question. And if you did have any further questions, feel free to ask. Um, Next question that I'm seeing is how to build wealth. Well, I'm not sure if that is like referring to like there's no specifics here, but I would imagine that you're referring to in a real estate standpoint. And there's a lot of different ways you can be able to build wealth, whether it's in real estate, stocks. Um, there's a lot of different ways to build wealth. So definitely multiple source of income is definitely one way I would definitely encourage. And the reason why I say multiple sources of income, because sometimes in different industries one paycheck will start to slow down, and then in a different industry things will start to pick up. What goes up must come down, those type of things. And having more than one side source of income is always definitely in your best interest, and able to build up your income one way or another. And once the more money you have and the more money you have coming in, the more you're able to utilize those funds, whether to do things with, whether it's saving, investing, or paying back debts, things like that. So definitely I would encourage to have multiple sources of income, use some of that income to save and invest. Because definitely investments is huge. You want your money working for you, because just sitting there in the bank, it's definitely not very beneficial. So definitely building wealth, I would encourage to definitely use it towards investing, whether it's in real estate, stocks, or some kind of business owning. Because like let's keep it about like over 50% of people that has some type of wealth and have some type of um, net worth, they aren't working, just a job. They literally are business owners. And definitely, just to give a good idea of business owners, would be like attorneys, um, also like accounting. Uh, what else? What other industries have a lot of business owners? Um, Attorneys, accountants. Um, there's probably a few more out there that I that's not coming to mind. Um, there are definitely people that like has like a real estate business, but in a fashion where they're having in more of a money flow is definitely worth it. So it's definitely, again, business owning a business is definitely key there, and using that as an investment. It's definitely a good way to build wealth. So yeah, to definitely ways to build wealth is definitely what I would definitely consider is definitely being a business owner, because that's definitely a good way to know where your money's coming in. And the more you put into your business, the more you get out of it. So, because you could be working a job and you can give your all, blood, sweat, and tears, and you're just nothing but a number there. You're literally working for someone else's business betterment. So definitely becoming a business owner, I feel, is definitely a great way of building wealth. To answer that question, I hope that answers that question. It was literally just those 4 words. So I hope I got at least scrape the surface at least. Um, Next question, third question. What to do with money after selling a house? Well, there's a lot of different things you can do with selling your home, because the point of buying and owning a home is to have equity. And once you build that equity, meaning like you're paying down your loan and or you pay off your loan, and the property is just all yours. So like if you originally bought the property and it was 400,000, and then after you're like, his most loans go for 15 to 30 years. So after those 15 or 30 years, that property in most cases appreciated. So when it appreciates, it's not only what you bought it for, but it also is on top of that appreciation. Plus, if you did improvements on the home where you say, for example, you did some exterior work, and or you added bathrooms or added a garage when it was just a driveway, or there was no driveway at all, and you were able to add those type of components to the property, that was those things add value. So when the property appreciates and you add more value to the property, that $400,000 property that you bought can eventually become 600,000 or 700,000, depending on how much you sell it for. So after selling a property like that, and say, after closing and paying all your closing costs and covering all the expenses to close on that property, say you were left with, I don't know, say 550,000 or 480,000. What I would definitely suggest, and this is just a suggestion, is again, back to that last question that I answered about building wealth, is definitely investing, definitely taking some of that money and finding another property or two that is like somewhere around 100,000 to 200,000, buying that property, fixing it up, and renting it. That's definitely, excuse me, that's definitely something I would definitely suggest, because it's definitely very beneficial, very, very beneficial to use that equity from selling your property to further invest more and build up your net worth more. Because if, say, for example, you bought two more houses for 150,000, renovated, rented it out, you have a monthly income from that rent. And then, of course, like I was mentioning earlier, that property does appreciate. So you have two properties that you're earning rent from, and then they appreciated, and then you paid off the loan with the rent money. There you go. You're putting yourself in a position where not only you don't have to work again, but say, like we're talking like 30 years after, another 30 years go by, you're in your 60s or 90s, and you're able to pass it on to your children, and then they have equity, and then they have those properties, and then they're able to build off of that. They're not starting from nothing. So yeah, definitely after selling your house, I would definitely say invest more, whether it's in real estate, like I just mentioned about buying the two more properties, or even in stocks. That's always beneficial as well, um, if you're into it, of course, because you have to learn a little bit more. And I would definitely suggest you learn the logistics and the numbers before really like diving in to stocks, because if you don't know what you're investing in, or even knowing if that possible stock is even going up or down, or what the stock is for, or, things like that, that is always something you want to look into. And yeah, there's definitely multiple ways you can be able to build, but I would definitely encourage to educate yourself as well. It's another way of building money, of what to do with the house after doing with the money after selling a property, because you know it, it's it it's great to have money in your pocket, but it's even better to have knowledge, because not only you have the experience of owning a home, selling a home, you have that knowledge, but then you'll also have just the know-how to be able to turn around and teach others. And now, especially coaching, that's another business that a lot of millionaires are being built off of as well. So taking what you learned and putting it into a course, man, that's another way to become wealthy and to build wealth, not only for yourself but also teach others how to build wealth. And that just makes another what do you like a level things out, where you have a leveling field of multiple people that you educated, and like that type of energy comes back to you. It makes things a lot more, it makes life more living, more worth living rather, and it also helps build your worth as well. Because, like, if that millionaire earns so much, they're going to do nothing but turn around to you and be like, oh my gosh, I would have never been able to do this without you. And you have a wonderful relationship with someone that you were able to build wealth with. So, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with your funds after selling a home. I just strongly discourage to go back to renting, because you're going back into the rat race again. So yeah, if you're able to sell, and by the God's grace, you're able to earn enough after selling that home, were you able to earn equity and earn enough to be able to buy another property, go for it. And I wouldn't discourage you at all to buy as low as possible, like buy a property that is like as low costing as possible, and hiring like a contractor or architect or someone that's a specialist, a licensed specialist in that field, to help build that property and not make it into what you want it to be, but make it habitable, and someone can live there and pay rent and be paying the rest of your mortgage for the next house that you decide to live in. So, those are just a few things I suggest that would definitely answer the second question, that to just put you in a wealthy and a definitely a better financial stance is definitely something I would strongly encourage. Because yeah, it's tough out there, and people are going broke, and people are having a hard time, you know, especially now. People are having a hard time just making ends meet. So, if you can get equity, or get some type of profit from selling your home, definitely buying another one that's lower and just fix it up and rent it out. That's monthly income that can definitely help you pay bills, pay debts, um, hell, pay for another property. So that's definitely, I would strongly encourage there. Um, so those were the three top questions that I received, because I think that is just definitely some ways you can be able to build wealth, things you can do with the money after selling your home, because definitely will be a good benefit. And then the first question that I answered is, how to buy a home with no money down. Definitely finding a good lender and understanding that lender's policies, requirements, and different avenues that lender has, because every lender has different packages, have programs. Everything, not everything is so cookie cutter with different companies. Everyone runs their business differently. So do I as a realtor. A lot of realtors, run their business differently. Some, may not um, be so cognitive and on top of the real estate laws, that they don't know or have a remote idea on what's happening with the National Association of Realtors settlement, and would have no idea about how to move forward with a buyer or a seller. So, you know, education at this point, like I said earlier, is super, super important. And I feel that the more you educate yourself in the fields that matter to you, like, you don't want to just be just knowing everything for nothing, and then never use that information. So definitely educating yourself to the point where you can actually use the information that's given to you to your benefit is definitely something I strongly suggest. So I hope I answered those three questions properly, and well, at least I got a good answer. I mean, got a good answer to you to be able to help get you to where you want to be. Again, thank you very much for joining me. And if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to leave some questions out. I'll answer them. I'll be doing this every week on Thursday at 12 o'clock until further notice. I might change the time to a little later in the evening. So that way it'll make it a little bit easier for people to join and we can talk live and I can be able to answer questions as they come in. So thank you again for joining me with Win with Aretha. I am Aretha, and I hope you guys have a lovely day on purpose.